Hey everyone, got a Redmi Note, Xiaomi, even another Android phone? Doesn't matter. Today I'm introducing you to a sensitivity setup that turns far combat into God mode and makes close combat a living nightmare for your enemies. Why am I saying this? Because 300 plus of you commented, where's the Redmi Note sensitivity? And I delivered. From Redmi Note 7 to 13 Pro, even the Redmi 12C, I tested them all. And now I'm showing you button by button how to spray from 500 meters and melt enemies in close combat. Alright, first, I went into the settings and started with the default low sensitivity to see how it works, whether it's good or bad. I noticed that for close range fights, it works well, and you can land headshots easily. As for long range fights, it was terrible. The recoil was extremely high. Next, I went into the sensitivity settings and selected the medium option. This time, I only tested the scope at long range, but again, it wasn't good and the recoil was too intense. So, I decided not to use this setting. Finally, I went into the settings and adjusted the sensitivity manually as follows. Keep in mind that this section is for lens sensitivity, which is designed for non-gyro players. Do not edit the first three options. Set this one to 20 to 25. Set this one to 40 to 45. Set this one to 20. Set 6x scope to 20. Set 3x scope to 35. This was the first section for lens sensitivity. Now moving on to the ADS sensitivity section. Set 4x scope to 35, set 2x scope to 55, set 8x scope to 30, set 6x scope to 30, set 3x scope to 45. Finally, set red dot to 75 to minimize recoil and improve overall performance. The last section here is camera sensitivity free look. Set this one to 140, set this one to 150, set this one to 150 to 165. If the sensitivity feels too high, you can lower it by about 5 to 10 degrees. Now let's test it. We can see that it's excellent for close-range fights, making it easier to land headshots. And here's how it performs in long-range fights. Of course, this setup was specifically for non-gyro players. In the next section, I'll adjust the settings for gyro players. Alright, you saw that the sensitivity for non-gyro players was great. Now, let's create an insane sensitivity setup for gyro players. First, turn on the gyroscope. Now set TPP no scope and FPP no scope to 400 in both sections. This setting is for when you're shooting without a scope in close-range fights, like going for headshots in TDM mode. I know 400 might seem high for some of you, but trust me, you'll get used to it over time, and you'll realize that 400 is essential for becoming a pro. It works perfectly for this section. For the red dot, set it between 250 to 300 in the first section based on your preference, and in the second section, set it to 220. Now let's test it. You can see that it's amazing, and there's no recoil at all. Make sure to test both vertical and horizontal recoil. Horizontal recoil is important when shooting at moving enemies and vehicles.